All right, kids. Ready for something completely different? A day in the life. 0 degrees this morning here in Missouri. Quite cold. We got a lot of snow. On Sunday, we got 10 to 12 inches of snow. Now, I'm heading out to the barn to collect myself some mice to feed the babies. Now, I don't put mice in the house until I've thawed them out. So I had the predicament of how do I thaw out the mice? I do have a system for this, but thaw out the mice in my little building, which is, I have the heat off right now. Check that out. See the forklift down there? Bet you don't have one, do you? Well, why would you? Who needs a forklift, right? So, I'm heading into the barn. It's quite dark. And going through my more reasonable weather workout room. Now, the lights don't like to work. They're not very bright because it's very cold. This is my workout space when the temperature is more reasonable. Some of my equipment. Got a little something for everybody, everything I need. Got some rat boxes stacked up there. But first thing I got to do is I got to get myself some mice to take into my little building and heat up. My floor is really creaking. Can you hear that? I got lots of mirrors so I can check myself out while I'm working. If you don't have mirrors, you're doing it wrong. That's what they told me. That's what I heard. So in here, in my barn, is my corn crib. This is a corn crib. All right. I am not making any effort to make this easy to see, in case you're wondering. So this is a corn crib, and it is too cold for the light to come on in here at all. This is a corn crib. If you were a real farmer and you were storing corn, you'd have your corn in here. But I'm not a real farmer. I'm a boa guy, so I got freezers in here. So there's two over there, 2 over here, and I have 3 more freezers in another part of the barn. Right now, I only got like 3 of them full, so you wait until you get a really good price, and then you load everything up to save money. So you pay the moderate bucks instead of the big bucks for your rodents. And in this freezer, I've got mice. Thousands and thousands of mice. Anyways, I got to get some mice out to feed my babies today. And I'm going to show you how I set them up in my little building to thaw them when it's 0 degrees so that the babies will eat them, because you can't give baby boas 0 degree mice, of course. So I'm going to get those out now, and I'm going to take them out and show you how I set up and thaw them out in the little building. Alrighty, so I realize this isn't very high tech, but these are some extra heaters that we wired up for Boaphile Plastics cages. It's a low wattage flex watt type heater, and I just lay all the mice on here. It's 0 degrees out here, so it'll take a while to warm these babies up. So I just plug it in straight, and I keep on checking on the temp to make sure they're not getting too warm, because I have had them get too warm before, and you don't want that because it just ruins them. And then I have a panel here that I lay on top, and this is something I just wired up probably 20 years ago that I had sitting vertically in between 2 stacks of smaller cages that didn't have heat in them, and I just heated the ends where the 2 cages would abut each other, or 2 stacks of cages. So it provided heat to both both sides of the cages. And I bred in cages with this heat. One heater that would heat a dozen cages. So plug this in. They'll get warm, and then lay this on top, and this provides heat on the top. So together, they'll provide enough heat to get these nice and toasty. So that's how I heat them up. That's pretty high tech, isn't it? So that's a day in the life. 8:30. Start a little late. But it'll take probably 6 hours, maybe longer, 7 hours in this kind of temps to get it warm enough. But we'll get it plugged in, and then I'm going to start my workout. So hang on. There will be boa stuff, actual boa stuff toward the end of this video. Or not the end, but in a little while. Maybe I'll show a little bit of my workout just for fun. I don't know if people want to see that or not, but I do it every day, 6 days a week for an hour or a little over. So stay tuned for boa info after my workout, which is coming up next. One more little tidbit I just thought of is the bigger mice are up at this end. Under the styrofoam now. They're up at this end, so it takes more to thaw them out and get them up to the same temp that is, 80 to 90 for eating. So I don't put styrofoam on this end where the mice are smaller, and I put some styrofoam up at this end where the mice are bigger because it takes a little longer for them to warm up. So this insulation will help bounce back more of that heat back into the mice so that they will thaw out. Genius, right? All right, let's get working out. Come on. All right, so this is where I work out in the wintertime, basically. If it's too cold to work out in the barn, I work out it here in my basement. Got mirrors here too. Got to be able to check myself out. So I have an identical Hoist V5 machine that I use. It's good because I can use it all by myself. This isn't going to be too high tech. I'm not going to go extreme to really show you what I'm doing. Just to give you a little idea for anybody who's interested, which is going to be like 4 people, but I love it. So I do it every day. So today's Tuesday, so it's shoulder day. So I work out 6 days a week. I do shoulders twice a week. One day it's just kind of an exercise program where I'm doing the exact same lifts, but I do 3 sets and I do it at a moderate weight. And then one day I do just 2 sets. I do 1 at a moderate rate, and then I do 1 at heavy weight. So it's what I would call high intensity training for that day, which is what I'm doing today, as high as I ever do. So I don't do anything crazy because I don't want to hurt myself. That's the most important thing for me, is that I don't hurt myself, that I'm conditioning myself. I'm giving my heart a good workout, which is mainly what I'm doing on the exercise days. I try to keep my heart rate at about 120 the whole workout, close to it. Or it averages about 120. I wear a Garmin watch, which monitors my health data, and also wear a Fitbit, monitors my health data and heart rate. And then I wear a chest strap heart monitor, which monitors my heart rate very, very accurately, which goes through the Garmin, so I can check my heart rate. So it averages about 120 on my exercise days. I do my lifts, and then I walk in between each lift, a very brisk walk to keep my heart rate up. And then on the days where I'm doing the high intensity training, which is only 2 sets, I do a walk in between each of the first set, which is about 2 minutes or so, about a 2-minute walk. And then the more high intensity one, I do like a 5-minute walk in between each set, do a brisk walk, which actually my heart rate is not as high on the days that I do a higher intensity weight. So at any rate, here's what I do on shoulders. I basically put together my own package of lifts that I do. I do 6 different lifts. So the first one I'm going to do right now, is I do delts elbow out. So here's how that works. Do this at 100 pounds. And I pull off this chest height cable. And I keep my elbows out when I'm pulling. And I do a dozen reps at 100 pounds. When I started this, I would do about 30 pounds. Shortly after my surgery. I think I lost track of the count. Usually I'm not talking and counting, so I count in my head. So here's the left, elbow out. Works my rear delts. Reps, so that works the rear delts in the rear and into my back. And this is just to give myself a well-rounded strengthening of my shoulders, because as many of you know, I had both shoulders fixed. I had rotator cuff repair. So now I'm going to walk for like 3 minutes. You want to follow me? See what that's like? This is exciting. All right, so not very many people have this kind of a track to walk on. Uh-oh, don't look. My wife is down here. She doesn't want to be in videos. So I walk around. Basically, I do 3 laps. So this is about 1.5 minutes. If you're bearing through this, that's going to be amazing. And the boas don't seem to mind. Nobody pays any attention to me coming by. They don't complain. Not that they would do much about complaining, I guess, but they don't nail the door. They're used to seeing this movement of me coming around the cages, I guess. They know it's something that happens. Sure that they smell me. Thankfully, you don't have to smell me, right? That's a good thing. Then I put my camera back on its mount. And then I do what I call a lawnmower pull. Does that a little lower weight? Because the muscles aren't as strong. So I grab this cable that's down low, and I'm going to pull it like I'm trying to start a lawnmower. That works a different group of muscles on the rear delts, kind of going up into here. Reps of that. Then I walk around again, 3 more laps. I'm going to pause this because you probably don't want to watch me walk again. All right, then I also do that. I just finished that walk. Then I do some lateral lifts. So I do a little bit of a variation from how most people do it, I think. Most people do these, do a bunch of these. So I do it that way, and then I also do it this way. So you change the angle a little bit, it changes a little bit of the muscles that are targeted here when you do it. So I do like this, 1, and I turn it, 2, 3, 4, 4. These are only 8 or 7 pounders, but it really gets it burning. It's not a lot of weight, but it does get burning pretty good from a little bit of weight because you're using those small muscles. So that's the next one I do. It's only 6 of them. It's only 3 left, and I won't make you watch everything right to the bitter end. So I'm going to pause you again while I walk. All right, continuing. My daughter's down here too, so I've got to, avoid getting her in the shot because she's shy. She's working out with me. So next, I do elbows in on this delt workout. Pulling back on the machine, I do 110. It's a warm up. I do more than that because I'm a macho man. I do more than that on the next set when I'm trying hard. So this one I'm warming up. 110 with my elbows in. So like this. My elbow tucked in. And that works a distinct different group of muscles in the rear delts into my back and up in my shoulder. 12 reps each hand. I am almost out of the shot, aren't I? That's better. All right, 12 reps to that one. Two more movements left. Now I'm going to walk. I'm going to pause you so you don't have to endure it. Oops. All right, so now I don't even know what you call this. So it's sort of a form of a front lateral with 30s. This is what I would do hammer curls with. Then I'd do that and that. But this one is one I just started doing right after my shoulder surgery. When I started, I could only do 5s. And that was really exhausting because the muscles were so weak. So I lean forward a little bit. It helps avoid impingement of the supraspinatus, which are the tendons on the front of the shoulder that I had to get fixed. So I don't want to damage them again. So I lean forward a little bit, turn these sideways, and then I lift like this. So for the harder set, the next one I'll do between 20 and 24 reps, depending on how I feel. Same weight, 30s. And then there's just one more movement. I'll show you in a minute after I walk for 3 laps again. Pause it. All right, this last one is a variation of a row. So a row, typically, you think of grabbing something like this on a cable, and you would connect to a point down low. Be sitting typically, you pull back like this. So that's one way to do a row. Another way is a standing row with a barbell like this. I'm not doing that because that would unnecessarily stress my back. I've got a bad back. So I'm trying to save everything that's somewhat tender. So I do a seated row with the handles out here. So this isn't a typical row. I'm going to do this row with my elbows out. So I get a hold of that and I keep my elbows way out. So this is going to engage my rear delts again, just like the standing one I did with a rear delt, but it's harder. I think it engages my back more. And it actually stresses my legs too, because I have to push with my legs to keep myself in the right position. So I move this pad forward so that my body is against that, so I'm not fighting the weight to keep upright. I'm leaning against this, and then I'm pulling on the two handles on either side. And for the warm-up, I do this at 160 today. Feeling pretty good. Alright, so that's a row variation. So now I lied. I got one more workout I'm going to do, one more movement, which is just an overhead press with some dumbbells. So I'll do that in just a second after I waka. Alright, so this is the last one. This is the overhead press. And I typically, during the warmer months, I've been doing this with a landmine setup. So I'm not doing straight up over my head. I'm doing a little bit of an angle, so not as strong doing this one, but I'm still doing it because I don't have the landmine set up down here. So I do an overhead press. I make sure I'm not going to hit something with the dumbbells, and then 12 reps. All right. So to be perfectly frank, I do feel a little corny doing this, but thought I'd do it just for fun. I'm looking at the screen, so I'm basically see myself in the mirror. I want to make sure I look good. So now we're going to do some boa stuff. Actually, I have to do another set of all those movements, and this would be at higher weights for everything and more reps. So I'm not going to go to failure, because I never go to failure, but probably within 3 or 4 reps of failure. So I'm really stressing the muscles. You don't have to actually go to failure, just close. I'm living proof you don't have to go to failure to get gains. So I don't go to failure. So I just I go within 3 or 4 reps of failure. I'm going to go through all 7 of those movements. Again, typically 16, 18 reps on most of them at about 15 to 20% higher weight. And then I walk for about 5 minutes in between each set. And then when I'm all done, I walk for another 5 minutes. So the total time for this is going to be about an hour, roughly. So I've gone, including my walking between sets, I've gone 25 minutes or so far, something like that. And so watch the back end here. We're going to show a lot of boa stuff, including a labby ovulation. Labby, Ghost, Key West ovulation is happening right now. That's the combo. Neither of the parents are that, but some of the babies potentially could be that. So stay tuned. We'll show a lot of boa stuff here for the rest of the video shortly. Thanks for watching. All right, as promised, time for a little run through on see what's going on breeding wise here today, January 7th. Wow, 7th already, and lots of courtship, some ovulations, exciting stuff happening. So there's a VPI Key West Aztec male, and he is working over this IMG VPI female. She is very chunked out. I would estimate ovulation in 3 or 4 weeks, something like that. Stay tuned for that. I'm hoping that that'll happen. Just topped off all the waters. I don't top them off. I dump them and fill them up again. I shouldn't say top off. That has a specific meaning that I did not intend to convey. So this is the first of several I'm going to show you. See how he's crawling? That's because I'm talking. He feels the vibration from my voice. So let's see what's next. This is a Motley Sunglow Aztec Fire male, het VPI, and he's breeding a VPI female. It's a big male. Not one I produced. He's not too big, but bigger than I usually get him. And fingers crossed, we'll see what happens. All right, check that out. That's one of my favorite girls. This is a big IMG Labby, het sharp, Poshat anarthristic. She's a big one, going all the way across in a 4-foot cage twice. And she is majorly chunked out. See that tight spot right there where it's wrinkled? That's indicative of ovulation or almost ovulation. It will be any minute. And that will be a big one when that happens. She is breeding with a Labby Anery. Actually, he hasn't been doing anything for about a week. So I think she doesn't smell good anymore. He wants out of the cage. So when she's on the shelf, he's down below. And when she's down below, he goes up on the shelf. Kind of interesting. Another big Labby girl. This one is a proven super hypo Labby. She is het for nothing, but her babies will be. She is not ovulating, but she is close. Very, very chunked out. And the male that's breeding her is a VPI Fire. Little guy. Looks too small, doesn't he? But he loves her. They are madly in love. And I am going to be madly in love with these babies when they come out. I just made that up. Not scripted. Let's see what's up next. This is another proven super hypo Labby. She's being bred by a special male. Secret male. Sorry. I'm trying to prove something new out, and we'll see what happens. I do that all the time. Usually it does not work out, but sometimes it does. It does often enough that I keep on trying. She is massively swollen, and she should ovulate like her sister probably before the end of the month. So, hopefully so. This is a Key West anarthristic, and he's breeding a female hypo Aztec het anery. She seems to be enjoying it, quite chunked out, doing a lot of these little urates around, which they do sometimes when they're being bred. It's a good sign, and hopefully something will happen here. It'll be a while before she ovulates. Ditto on this breeding, same thing. Another hypo Aztec het anery being bred by an anarthristic Key West. They were just sitting there without moving until I started talking, and the talking is vibrating their feeling, and it gets them stirred up, wondering, hey, what's going on? I was very happy to find this one this morning. This is a ghost Key West, and she is being bred by a Labby Het Anearthristic. Some people saw this male and said he was anery, but he's one of those near aneries. I know he's not anery, but he's a het. So she got some cool puppies out of that. Some Anearthristic Labbies, maybe some Ghost Labbies, and a little Key West thrown in there. I referred to this earlier in the video. Pretty happy to see that. Ovulation is pretty stinking obvious. I did a video on ovulation earlier that, I tried to reiterate the point that ovulation is a movie. It's not an individual picture. Easily identifiable if you're patient and take your time to look. Anyways, check that video out. Here we have an IMG Anearthristic in with the Nexus Boa, which I proved out a number of years ago now, 7 years ago, maybe 8 years ago. She is all kinds of chunked out. In the past, she's ovulated right or at the end of January, so around 25th to 27th, in that neighborhood. I suspect that that's probably what she'll do again this time. He's kind of hit or miss now, not working her relentlessly like he was. There's a very much gravid monster tail hypo. She's a babe. Pretty cute, huh? Very gravid, very chunked out. Bred a Pastel Dream hypo. Hopefully we'll get some beautiful puppies from her in about, a little over 3 months now. There's a gravid Aztec. She's an Aztec Het Anery. Or I should say, possible Het Black-eyed Anery. Possible Het Carbon version. And she was bred by a Hypo Labby Het Carbon, Passat VPI. And she ovulated a while ago, had her post-ovulation shed. I haven't gotten it out yet. And that male is down below working her sister with identical genetics. He's opaque, but he still likes her. Fingers crossed. Didn't get their water bowl yet. Got to do that this afternoon. She had a big drink. This is one I've shown in previous videos. This is a big Fire Labby, and she was bred by a Call Blood. And she is fully opaque. Try not to mess with her. I need to clean her cage. But I try to leave them alone until after they have their post-ovulation shed, at least. So she's been tearing up the aspen. So this is one of my most important breedings. One I'm really looking forward to this year. It's probably my most important breeding this year, except for some of the experimental ones. If they work out, they'll be better. But this is a Carbon, and he's working this female Labby Het VPI. This Carbon is Het VPI as well, and he's chasing her around. She's chunking out a little bit. It's going to be a while. If she ovulates, it'll be at least a month. But I'm hoping for something good out of this breeding. This is an important one. This is a good one. This is a sharp Key West Motley, breeding a special male. Can't say too much. She had a big drink of water, which I'm very happy about. She is very, very chunked out. And now that I'm over here talking, he's going to get a little disturbed. Might be hooked up. I know, he's locked, right? No, usually they're not. But the way he's acting, kind of squirming around in his vent areas, staying put, he might actually be connected. Which is what I want, right? That's what we're trying to get him to do. This is a Call Sunglow Jungle Het Blood. And she is bred by a Hypo Labby Double Het Call Blood. And she ovulated, just finished yesterday. So she ovulated for about 3 days. Longer than I like to see them ovulate, but I like when they finish. I've had them ovulate and get stuck in ovulating and not make it. So I was happy that she finished up. Not a very big girl, maybe 8 babies. And hopefully we hit something cool. I've shown this pair more than once. This is a Call Sunglow Jungle female. She's a beaut. And she is being bred by an IMG Labby Het Call. He's been the hardest working Labby Het Call I've got this year. She seems to be enjoying it. She's chunked out a little bit, so I don't think she'll ovulate for a little while. But I'm hoping that that one works out. Thought I'd show that again. He's hard at it. This is a Sharp Sunglow Het Blood. She's gravid. She's in her post-ovulation shed cycle now. She was bred by a Labby Double Het Sharp Blood. Hopefully we hit some cool stuff. She'll shed in, week and a half or so. And hopefully we'll get some cool puppies in about 4 weeks. This little tiny squirt, this is not a very big female. This is probably about a 5-foot female. So this male is really small, about a 3-footer. This is a Sharp Aztec Fire. And the female is a Hypo Labby Het Sharp. So it'd be cool to see a Sharp Labby Fire with Aztec even. Would be really cooler. But he's been trying about it like is typical for a young male. You know, he's enthusiastic for half a day and then you don't see him doing anything. But it could happen. Only one way to find out, right? Keep letting him try. Look at that pale mustache on that puppy, huh? Here's a Hypo Labby Motley. Possibly Key West too. She's being bred by a Fire. He's not known to be het for anything. Could be het for something because they were all bred into Sharp and stuff years ago. Bred to possible hets. But looking good. I've shown this one before. This is an Anery Aztec. And he is working an IMG Motley Labby Het Anarthristic. She is really chunking out. Not a very big girl, but she's chunking out, and I'm hoping to make some cool puppies out of this. We could get, let's see, IMG Labby Aztec Anarthristics. Nothing wrong with that. We'll see. This is kind of an interesting setup. I have 2 Anarthristic Labbies. They've both gotten really dark during breeding here, which I'm hoping means that they're cycling. One of them is really chunked up. The one that's being bred right now by this Superfire. Superfire is either het anarthristic or he's an actual anery. We don't know. We'll find out on this breeding, hopefully. But I had the female he's working now is the one that he was in with, has been in with for, it's been about 2 months. He's been working her a lot last month or so. And the other one, she wasn't getting any activity from her male. So I put her in here just in case he decided she smelled good too. So got this 2 females and 1 male together. We'll see what happens. The little guy would be lucky to get 1 bred, I guess. But I've got my fingers crossed. We'll see what happens. Maybe the one will get to the point where she's ready to cycle or ovulate on her own, and then he'll hop on the other one. So we'll see what happens. This is a Pastel Dream Sharp. She is just about to ovulate. Thought I'd show this. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this, but there's kind of a tight spot right here, which is the front end of where the ovaries are extended or expanded because she's developed egg follicles. So right here, this tightness here, that's the front end of it. Got the flashlight in my mouth. And then it's quite big back to about there. Probably can't really see it. You have to take my word for it. But she's about to ovulate anytime. And I just thought I'd show that. So that's a Pastel Dream Sharp. Here's my VPI Snow Nexus female. Whoops. It's a VPI Snow Nexus female being bred by a Blood Key West Possible Het VPI. This is one of my more important breedings, but she is really chunked out too. Hoping that she will ovulate. She is from the second litter of Nexuses, so she's, I believe, 6 years old this year. And I've shown this one a number of times. I'm excited about this, so we'll see what happens. This is my Jungle Key West girl. It's not wanting to focus on that. It wants to focus on the water bowl. She's being bred by an IMG Motley. It's a Key West Anery Jungle from the Key West Jungle had Anery litter that couldn't be jungle, right? But were. Long story. Anyways, I'm hoping that hoping this one goes. This is a big girl. I've had her for, produced her 8 or 9 years ago, and she's never produced anything. I was trying the wrong male, I think. So this little guy seems to have really gotten in there and done the job, at least so far. And you can see him, but barely. Matches the cage. But I'm expecting that this one will ovulate within the next 2 or 3 weeks. This is a hypo blood. She will not back up. I'm touching her with the camera, the phone. She is being bred currently by an Aztec Fire VPI male. And he seems to really like her. So that'll be awesome. This is a breeding I really wanted a blood labby to breed her. But he wasn't interested. I also have a VPI IMG Key West Aztec in there. He's VPI, so I would know who was the sire regardless. But so if I get normals, then normals and or bloods, blood labbies, then I know it came from the labby blood. Anything else that came from either this Fire Aztec or this IMG Key West Aztec. So regardless, the visuals will tell me what I have and who sired what. But so this is probably the last breeding I'll show today. Anyways, a little bit of an update as to what's going on. I'm not sure, he might be hooked up because he is not moving and I am talking away. Anyways, you can see the animals we have available on morphmarket.com. If you have not liked this video yet, like it please. Comment on it. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. You know it's a broken record, right? Everybody says it, but it's important. Boosts us in the algorithm so more people know that we're out here and we're shooting videos. So, have a good one.